Hi everyone, and welcome to my let's say part three of this battle of the micro machines, micro earphones, and this time I bring you the MOONDROP Quarks. Quick run through the box, and while we do that, we talk. Very simple. You can definitely see money was not spent on this department. So in terms of the packaging, it's as simple as it can possibly be. Case with some tips, which are the standard tips, which actually work fine with this particular application, although I am not using, or I did not use the standard tips. Okay, so that's the box, and this is the actual IEMs themselves. There we go. Let me just try and zoom in a little bit so you guys can have a better look. So very simple looking plastic shell. Okay, the only indication of left and right are the different coloring on the actual rear of the shell. So left side, right side. As you can see, you can have a glimpse there of the driver itself. Let me see if I can even zoom that a little bit further. There we go. That's the driver there. Okay, 6mm driver, and as I said, I'm using final E tips on my particular Quarks, and that's what I did most of the listening with. Cable, it's a fixed type cable, so no possibility of changing the cable around. Decent quality, actually better than some of the stuff that usually is available at this price and so on. Doesn't tangle too much. I mean, it's fine, I guess, for what it is. I mean, we're talking $13-14 roughly for these IEMs, so that's it. Anyway, fit is fine. They sit pretty flush in my ears. They don't really bother me. The insertion is relatively deep, so that you can actually get the best out of it. There's no visible holes in them, so it's a completely closed shell, although that doesn't or didn't necessarily mean that I had any issues with the driver flex. I didn't hear any driver flex, to be honest. It was fine, and yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, fit is fine. Isolation is well, it is what it is. It depends on the depth of the insertion. Very light. I mean, you don't even feel that you have them in your ears. They really, in that aspect, they really are quite good. I'll be comparing them, or rather, they are battling the two previous, let's say, leaders of this little comparison that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, which is the Tanya and the DQSM Hermit. Just a quick run through on some of the characteristics of those other two and how they stack up with this one. So if some of you remember the Tanya's, it's a Harman tuned IEM, decent construction, also a fixed cable. The bass is relatively controlled, although not the deepest or the most textured, but it's fun, you know. It's okay. There's more of a mid bass than the sub bass emphasis here. The star of the show here, well, at least with the wideboard tips, is the mid range. The mid range is very good. Only sometimes that it gets just a little bit out of context, but it's pretty good. Although not terribly detailed, and this is down to the fact that the treble, there's a roll off of the treble, so the treble is very easygoing. It's slightly recessed, but very easygoing. Doesn't really shout, doesn't really, you know, it's not offensive or anything, but that's the reality, and that of course then means that stuff like cymbals and vocals sometimes can kind of come across a little bit dull, especially on the females. The male vocals are okay. Stage depth is fine, and the width is not maybe the best, but that's it. As for the Hermits, and I actually finished my previous comparison, stating that the Hermit was perhaps now my favorite of these micro earphones, micro IEMs. It's a more of a V. It's a more pronounced Harman V. Well, not Harman. It's a more pronounced V shape with a bright high end. So the mids and the highs are brightish, and there's a certain amount of V to that whole equation. But I don't really this whole thing of graphs sometimes is a little bit difficult, because what you see doesn't necessarily translate itself sometimes to what you're actually hearing. So if while looking at it you might think, yes, okay, pronounced highs, very bright, this and that, and the lower frequencies are maybe a little bit emphasized on certain areas and not on others, and you might start having an idea of what the sound will be like. That doesn't necessarily translate to the reality. Anyway, it actually has got proper sub bass, better than the Tanya. Construction is top notch, perfect. The construction here is a nice metal shell. Again, the only fault is the fact that the cable is fixed. You can't change it. Where this is really starts to really shine is the mid range. The upper mid range is done very tastefully. I mean, the amount of detail that they can get out, is very, very good. Seriously, wide soundstage, depth is okay, but the width is there. Imaging is really good, but as is also the case with Tanya, they need power. So I don't think that you'll get the best of them if you just connect them up to your cell phone or something. Both of these IEMs really do well with power. Give them power and they just open up. These are amazing in terms of detail retrieval and getting all the little nicks and icks and so on. These ones are slightly more dull when comparing these two. Where does this sit? This is more towards the Tanya side. So it's a very unoffensive IEM, more of a mid-bass emphasis than necessarily a sub-bass. The bass is there, but it's not the star. The star of the show here as well, I would say, is more of the mids. So it's kind of a simpler version of the Tanya, let's put it that way. Mids are really good, not the best detail in the world, not terribly capable of resolving minor things. The high frequencies are also slightly tamed. It's very, very easy to listen to this earphone. It's not offensive in any way. I mean, for $13, I guess that what their main goal was, which was to have a cheap earphone which has very much a sound signature which is particular to Moondrop, was achieved. It was achieved in a very simple package, very easy to listen, something that if you throw in your gym bag and you damage them or forget about them, it's not really gonna make you sad or scream or whatever. It is what it is. Stuff like there is technicalities, soundstage, imaging, and so on and so forth. They're all just acceptable. I mean, let's just be honest about it. No, they are, in my opinion, unoffensive. Very easy to listen to. Not terribly engaging in terms of I mean, the Tanya has a hell of a lot more bass slam, so if you want to listen to some EDM or something, the Tanya will definitely get you more involved, will get you more up and going. These ones are a little bit more recessed, more chilled out. but you know, they are what they are. They for $13. Like I said, once again I say it. You how bad can you go, or how wrong can you go? Not really. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, the Quarks, an interesting option from a brand that I guess this is the cheapest IEM they've ever manufactured. Gives you a taste of what Moondrop is capable of doing, but in my opinion, compared to the Tanya and to the Hermit, are not, they're not there. They stand behind. They are definitely behind these two. And yeah, that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this little take on the Quarks, and we see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.